Everybody, welcome to Petra's Happy Place. Today we're in a little bit different of a location, aren't we? This is a big part of my non-yarny self, and today I just wanted to share it with you. So in one way I hope you get to know me a little bit better, which is obviously, what the channel is all about. And I call it Petra's Happy Place because there's a lot more that makes me happy than just yarn. So today I just wanted to take a little departure from my crochet and my yarn and show you some of the other things that really make me happy. I apologize for the glare. Let me see. This might be a little bit better. So this is a representation of those things that make me really, really happy. And I want to kind of go over it with you. Let me go over this bottom shelf first, okay? So on this bottom shelf, this is a gift from a dear yarny friend, and it is a most beautiful mug. And I haven't even taken it out of its box yet because it's just, and it's got a real big glare on it. No, I'm sorry, but oh, there you can see it. Isn't it gorgeous? It looks so beautiful. I mean, it's got all these beautiful accessories to go with it. Anyway, I just love it, love it, love it. And I keep it in this box and I keep it on my shelf. And it reminds me of my dear friend Julie from Captain Stitches with Julie. And I love you, girl. I hope you're doing good, better. So here is a picture of my wedding. Well, it's not of the wedding, it's of me on my way. It was a rainy day. You can see I look a little bit different now than I did, but that is my picture that I keep up here. This is a little pillow I keep. It says, "We will be friends till we're old and senile, then we'll be new friends." I got this from my co-worker as a gift one year, and I love it because she was a little bit older than I was, and I love the whole sentiment about this. This is really neat. Okay. So, these. Can anybody guess what these might represent? Anybody? This represents me, and this is Mr. Happy. And the two could not be a better representation of who Mr. of Mr. Happy and me. He is Eeyore and I am Tigger. I love it. And for the first couple years of our marriage, we collected these and put them on our tree. So there's lots of little Tiggers, and there's Tiggers, and I've got some Tiggers over there, and yeah, I just love it. Love it, love it. Okay, so now I've cleared up so in front here so you can see the books, which I love. So one of my this doesn't belong there. One of my very favorite authors in the entire world is Ted Dekker. I love Ted Dekker, and I have read not all of these. Some of these I want to read over again. I have more Ted Dekker here. I had a whole lot more of them, and then I had ended up getting rid of them. Then I thought, I really wanted the whole collection. I'm not that big of a fan of collecting for the sake of collecting. I really want to be able to have them because I love them. And I mean, I've got a couple of paperbacks, and I have them here because I've read them and I love them. But I wish I could have gotten all of them in a hardback, but that's okay. That's okay. And this is only about a third of all of his books. Yeah. So this is a representation of Ted Dekker, and I have two other authors that are also. It's dusty. I haven't dusted in a while. Eats. Okay, so these are a representation of two of my other favorite authors. Between the three of these, I love. This is Stephen James. This one's called Synapse. I have not read this one yet. He has a series out. It's called, well, they're all chess pieces. And so the titles of all of the books are chess pieces. And it starts with pawn and then rook and, so on and so forth. And I've read a couple of them. I haven't read all of them, but they are amazing. I love his writing. In fact, when I was writing my fiction and I was trying to understand the art of writing, and I actually met his editor, and that was amazing because I actually wanted to be an editor. But I met his editor, and through her, I was introduced to Stephen James on Facebook, and he actually commented on something I wrote. But, I mean, that was years ago, but he's got so many people he knows, but he is amazing. I love his writing. Love his writing. And James Scott Bell, oh my word, he writes so well. He's actually got several writing books out, like how to write certain things. And I just love him. He's an amazing writer too. I have been reading this whole Romeo. I think you guys, I don't know, if you go back into some of my other older videos, I'm reading this series, Romeo, and I did a couple of reviews. It's kind of fun. Okay, so those are my favorite authors. I should say current day authors. This is my Jane Austen shelf. And I love Jane Austen. I wish I could have the camera so I could get more of the shelf in there, and I apologize. But so here's a couple things, just some little knickknacks. Mr. Happy got me this little, it's a notions pouch, and I should be using it, but I don't because it's just too cute. I just have it on my shelf as memorabilia. I mean, and it is has Jane Austen, her portrait on there, and has not sayings, but it has some of her more famous quotes from some of her books, and it's even got like a little pocket inside. It's so cute. It's so darling. And oh, it's got a really, I never even noticed what this said here. Let me read it. It says, you get out of it what you put into it. Get it? You get out of it what you put. Clever. Clever. Okay, so that's one. This is my newest edition. Look. Oh my gosh. Isn't she adorable? Mr. Happy picked that up for me at Barnes & Noble. It's Jane Austen. It's a pop. Isn't it adorable? And look, she's got a little book in her hand. And let me see. Of course, it's got to say Pride and Prejudice on it. But I think it's adorable. Oh, and he said it was the last one. Can you believe it? Okay, I've got a little teacup here, only because it just is very reminiscent of that time, and I just think it's amazing. Besides, it's glued together, so it's not like it'll fit really well in my cabinet. Okay, and then I love blue, and Mr. Happy had these things in his collections before we got married, and I just decided to confiscate them and put them on my shelf because I love blue. All right, so what have I got? It's Jane Austen. Okay, now all of these things are Austenish. Austenish. Now some of them are her, obviously her novels, but a lot of them are fan fiction or adaptations, things like that. So let me go through some of them. First of all, I think, oh wait a minute, where it is here. These two items, well, this one Mr. Happy found for me, and it's beautiful. It's just a little picture type book, and I just am in love with this. It's so pretty. The sketches are wonderful, and they're called The Prayers of Jane Austen, and it just says here at the beginning that she had in her she's been known for her novels, but these are just small little prayers that she had written down in her journaling and things like that. So, and then when I worked at a Lifeway bookstore years ago, I found this, a Jane Austen devotional, and it has some amazing devotions in it. It's written by Stephanie Woolsey, and it's amazing because of what they do is she took like a portion of one of her books, and then she has a devotional basically based on that part of scripture, part of her book that she wrote, and then it has a scripture verse that goes with it, and it's just, you know what, I have been wanting to do something like this, like a morning devotional, and film, not film it, but you know what I mean, but like share with you guys. And you know what, I think I'm going to do that. Perfect. I've been praying about what to do, and I think that combined with this one, I'm going to set these aside because I am going to do that. Yes, I am. So be looking for that. If you're interested in that, I will title it something, specific, so it's not a yarny crochet type video. Okay, so let me pull. These are actually her novels. Okay, so these and this, yeah, these are just her, her writing, and I have a couple copies of the same ones, but I have to tell you the story about this one. So I found this book one time, and I think it was like back when they had the other bookstores, not Barnes and Noble, but it was another bookstore. I can't remember the name of it. Anyway, there was this huge book called Jane Austen. It had all of her novels in it. And I thought, I love this. I love the pages because they're really thin, and it feels dainty in your hand. But it's a huge book. So I got this bright idea that I'm going to separate this book into separate books, her books. And so I've got Persuasion, Mansfield Park, Northanger Abbey, Emma, Pride and Prejudice, and, well, Sense and Sensibility is this one here, but you can't. Sense and Sensibility. But this is the first one in the book. So, yeah, I cut it apart so that I only had to take this big of a book if I wanted to take it with me instead of all this. And this is the one that if I found like sayings or sentences or a paragraph that I really like, I'll take a coloring pencil and I'll mark it. I mark it in these books. I love that. And you know what? I know a lot of people would like cringe when they saw that. Like, you cut apart a book. Well, first of all, it's my book. And I paid for it. But if it's going to help me read it and make it easier and more fun for me, and I have other copies of the same books, what difference does it make? It doesn't make no difference. And I know I have another, oh, there it is. Okay, so that's that. And I'm running out of space. Okay, then I have another copy of Sense and Sensibility. And I got these kind of like for their artwork type of stuff, okay? So the front cover, Sense and Sensibility, Emma. This is a Pride and Prejudice book, but it's like in a hard case with a hard cover. I just thought that was really cool. And I think this is a bookmark that I made a long time ago. So, yeah, so that's Pride and Prejudice. And then I have another Sense and Sensibility. And this is another Emma. This is a nice, big, thick one. And when I go into like used bookstores and things like that, that's what I'll look for. I'll look for different copies of the book. And sometimes I read it and sometimes I don't, but I know I've already read all of them. I've read all of them. Excuse me. I haven't read all of them because I really don't like Northanger Abbey. I don't like it. So, no, I haven't read it. But this one is the Watsons, Lady Susan and Sanditon. Okay, you guys, I don't know if you realize this, but these are just short novelettes, kind of, and they put them all into this one book. And that's all by her. All right, then, what else do I have? Now, these other ones are not written by her. I need to, keep stuff together. This is something that Mr. Happy bought me, the Jane Austen, and this is her life, her times, and her novels, and it's all just like a not a collaboration, but it's got some gorgeous artwork. Let me show you. Look at this. Look at the artwork. It's so beautiful. This is such a lovely book. But I just love it. Look, here's a handwritten letter. And it's all by her. There's a, all about the time that she lived in. Yeah, it's gorgeous. Okay, then he also found me this Color Me Jane. And it's just a coloring book. Isn't that precious? Now, I haven't done anything in it. I don't know if I'm wanting to. I mean, I'm going to mess it all up. But some of these, they have a where you can tear it out and you could frame it. So, let me show you one of them here. It says, I hope I never ridicule what is wise or good. And it's taken from Pride and Prejudice. So you color it and you could tear it out and put it in a frame and put it on your wall, and you could have some sayings from, you know, some of her novels. So yeah, isn't that neat? I love that. Okay, where am I putting these? Okay. All right, now these two are books. They're anthologies that, now I was part of a lot of groups, different groups, and I like not met like in person, but I started getting familiar with some of the names of different writers, and they had some compilations. One is A Very Austin Christmas, and all it's doing is it's taking like small novelettes type things, and they're using characters, you know, from the books, and they are like making up little stories about the characters. Like for instance, this one is called what's the name of this one here? Her Christmas Gift. Her Christmas Gift. It is about Elizabeth and Mr. Bingley and Miss Bennet and Catherine de Bourgh, and yeah. And so here's another one. It's called what's the name of this one here? The Matchmaker's Christmas, and it's about Darcy and Bingley. I mean, they're just neat little stories, little novelettes. And here's one about Valentine's Day. Oh, well, duh, if I just read the back. Okay, The Christmas Matchmaker is about Emma, and she's this is interesting. It combines Emma with Netherfield Park and Mr. Darcy. Interesting. Yeah, and then this one about the Valentines, and I picked them up because I thought, you know, I like reading like little stories. I love the Hallmark movies, and I love all that kind of stuff, you know, that are like this is for Christmas and this is for Thanksgiving, and, you know, all those kind of things. And so I like getting stuff like this. Okay, so this one, Sir Walter Takes a Wife, and it is by Laura Heil, and it's talking about Sir Walter Elliot from Persuasion, and yeah, he decides to marry again. Interesting. And then there's one, Little Charlotte, and she's a character from Pride and Prejudice. So yeah, and Anne and Mr. Wentworth. Ooh, I gotta listen. I gotta read that one. Listen to. I gotta read that one because that's my favorite. You guys, if anybody asks you, what is Petra's favorite Jane Austen novel? It's Persuasion. I love Persuasion. Yeah, I know a lot of people's favorite. You're going to ask them and they're going to say, oh, Pride and Prejudice, or yeah, usually it's Pride and Prejudice, their favorite. I love Pride and Prejudice, but my very favorite is Persuasion. Yep. Okay, so there is a series of books. Let me pull these because this is all in a series. That's a different one. This one. Okay, this is the same one. These are mysteries. Okay, there are Darcy mysteries. There's a whole series. I don't have all of them, but there are a series of books. Pride and Prescience. Don't know how to pronounce that one. The Matters in Mansfield. North by Northanger. you can hear the play on words, right? Suspense and sensibility. Interesting, but they're all little mysteries that it's called the Mr. and Mrs. Darcy mystery. Yeah, oh, I'm running out of time, but anyway, that's a whole series. That's fun. Okay, let me find a room. Then there is another series. This is by the author Stephanie Barron. Okay, and it is another. It's a whole mystery series, but this one is a little bit more difficult to read. But it's written in first person, which is kind of neat. And Jane Austen not plays herself, but she is a mystery writer, and she is solving these mysteries, which is really kind of cool. That's a different concept. Now this one, Mr. Happy picked up for me at the very beginning. Now this is more of a nonfiction type thing. It's called Among the Janeites, and it's just basically talking about the whole movement, people loving Jane Austen and following her. That's interesting. Here is another nonfiction one. And it is just understanding a little bit about her world. It's by Peter Leithart, Jane Austen, Christian Encounters. So that's interesting. In fact, I'm going to set that over here with my devotional type stuff. Okay, this is a different author, The Mysterious Death of Jane Austen. Obviously going to be a mystery. See, a lot of these I haven't even read yet, which is going to be interesting. All right, Mr. Happy picked up something for me, and I've never had one of these before, but he thought it was something interesting. So it's Manga and Emma, and it's if you're not familiar with it, which I wasn't, it's written from back to front, the way Japanese writers do. So it's written back to front. You read everything from right to left instead of, it's confusing, but it's a different way to read Emma. And I kind of thought it was interesting. Okay. Oh, goodness gracious. I just got this and finished it. Austenland. If you haven't read it or watched the movie, I love this. I love, love, love this. It's about a girl who ends up going to England and living in the Regency period for 3 weeks. Awesome, awesome, awesome. Okay. These are, okay, what is this one? This one is like that other one. It's another, it's one of those other mysteries by the same author. Oh, goodness, I have so many. Okay, so these are takes. This is Captain Wentworth's Persuasion and George Knightley, Esquire. Basically, they're written from the gentleman's point of view instead of the woman's point of view. Like Jane Austen writes, like she's experiencing it from the main character. Well, this one's Persuasion, and it's written from Captain Wentworth's point of view, and this one's George Knightley from Emma, and it's written from his point of view. And then here is another take on it. I don't know I know what you call them, but my mind just can't see it right now. The True Darcy Spirit, and it's about Mr. Darcy's sister, and I believe I believe. Yeah. Oh, no, I'm sorry. That's not right. Anyway, it's another take on the Darcys. This is, oh, that's Persuasion. That's another one. Okay. And then what's the, I said those. Let's see here. And the last two I have are Other Mysteries, Jane and the Waterloo Map, and Jane and the 12 Days of Christmas by, oh, wait a second. This is by Stephanie Barron, which is the same author of some of those other books. And this one is by same one. Interesting. So we got Jane and the Waterloo Map and Jane and the 12 Days of Christmas. See, I haven't read all these. I need to start reading more. Yeah, I definitely need to start reading more. Okay, guys, that, in a nutshell, is what I love. I love, love, love. And whoop, gave me a start. I'm sorry. I hope you guys have a wonderful rest of your day, and we'll talk to you again. Bye.